Hello everybody, my name is Jared Weathers. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have to go back a bit because we need to discuss the first American Football League. I'm just going to warn you now, there will be 4 videos with the name American Football League on it. Following the controversial ending of the 1925 NFL season, Red Grange's agent C.C. Pyle created the first American Football League. After the season, the Pottsville Maroons were seen as the NFL champions after they beat the Chicago Cardinals on December 6th, even though there were 2 weeks left in the season. The Cardinals owner Chris O'Brien hastily arranged for 2 more games, setting up one with the Milwaukee Badgers and one with the Hammond Pros, even though both teams already disbanded. The Cardinals beat the Badgers 59-0 and the Pros 13-0, and the Cardinals claimed the top spot with an 11-2-1 record. Simultaneously, while the Cardinals-Pros exhibition game was going on, the Maroons were having a game with an all-star team made up of former Notre Dame players at Sheep Park, near the home of the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, and they protested the game because the Maroons invaded their territory. Despite an order by the NFL Commissioner Joe Carr to cancel the game, the Maroons proceeded to defeat the all-star team 9-7. Joe Carr immediately canceled the Maroons game with the Providence Steamrollers and suspended the franchise. The Boston Bulldogs. The Bulldogs were coached by Herb Tree. The Bulldogs were Boston's first professional football team. Starting out in financial difficulty, the team folded in November 1926 after only 6 games. The team had a lack of stars and a lack of offense, doomed the franchise as it averaged 3 points a game. The Brooklyn Horsemen. The Horsemen were coached by Eddie McNeely. The Horsemen featured the Notre Dame Four Horsemen, Harry Studlichter, and Elmer Layden. The Horsemen suffered by not getting anyone to come watch the games. The Horsemen actually had to merge with their NFL counterpart, the Brooklyn Lions, playing 3 games of the Lions, ending in shutouts, and they folded at the end of the season. The Chicago Bulls. The Bulls were owned and coached by Joey Sternaman, the brother of the Chicago Bears owner Dutch Sternaman. The Bulls featured Joey as the quarterback. They also leased out Comiskey Park, forcing the Chicago Cardinals to use normal field. The Bulls also tried to lure the Cardinals halfback Petty Driscoll, but he ended up on the Bears. The Bulls were one of the last 4 teams still playing at the end of the year. The Cleveland Panthers. The Panthers had existed as an independent team since 1990, mostly playing teams from upstate New York. The Panthers were coached by Roy Watts and featured 6 players who play in the NFL's Cleveland Bulldogs. Despite having a potent offense and a winning record, the Panthers drew poorly at home aside from the league opening game. The team left the AFL hours after losing to the Los Angeles Wildcats road team on October 31st. The Panthers returned to independent status until they folded in 1933. The Los Angeles Wildcats. Named after former University of Washington star halfback Wildcat Wilson and owned by C.C. Pyle and Red Grange, the Wildcats were coached by Jim Clark, and they were a strictly traveling team based in Rock Island, Illinois. The entire roster consisted of players only from the west of the Rockies. One of the 14 games that was played was in Ontario, Canada on December 8th, which New York won 28-0. The Newark Bears. Owned by the New Jersey Athletic Association and coached by Hal Hansen, the Bears featured a backfield consisting of players who attended college in Georgia at Georgia Tech and Oglethorpe College. The Bears scored a touchdown tying the Bulls 7-7 in its first game and never scored again in any of its remaining 4 games. The Bears were the first to fold, calling it quits after playing the Rock Island Independents to a scoreless tie in front of 400 fans on October 24, 1926. For its final game, Newark changed its name to the Demons. The New York Yankees. The Yankees were coached by Ralph Scott and showcased Red Grange at halfback, George Peace at quarterback, and Eddie Tryon at wingback. While the rest of the league were starved at turnstiles, the Yankees were a consistent draw. The Yankees were the only team to outlive the league and join the NFL as a continuation of the just-defunct Brooklyn franchise for the 1927 season. The Philadelphia Quakers. The Quakers were a revival of an independent team that played 1 season in 1921. The Quakers were owned by Leo Conway and coached by Bob Folwell. the Quakers were the AFL's only champion, ending the season 8-2. On December 12, 1926, the Quakers played an exhibition game against the NFL's New York Giants in front of 5,000 windblown fans and lost 31-0. Like Chicago and LA, the Quakers were still alive at the end of the season, but folded with the end of the season. The Rock Island Independents. The Independents were a charter member of the NFL. They left the NFL and joined the AFL, making them a charter member of 2 different football leagues. They played their first 3 games at Rock Island, but after this, they became a traveling team and folded on November 1st, 1926. While the bulk of the league disappeared after the season, 3 teams were alive after the Giants-Quakers game. The Brooklyn Horsemen disbanded after the last NFL game. However, the league never withdrew or canceled the team. Tim Mara bought the franchise and proceeded to lease it to C.C. Pyle for his New York Yankees team. If you guys like this video, please subscribe. While I do in the series and talking about football, the next video has some serious warnings, and when that comes out, you'll know why. Have a good day.